Welcome to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast by yours truly, Colleen Wood. Here is where we celebrate success in real estate and share the wisdom and struggles so that others can be successful too. If you're the new listener, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders, and I'm known for helping realtors earn a lot more money in commissions without selling their soul to the industry and while maintaining balance with what's most important in life. I am so excited today. Today is going to be a really great day because we are talking to Cozi Wanner, broker with Oakland and Company out of Billings, Montana. She is a Rockstar Realtor with tremendous passion for real estate, and I am over the moon to be talking to you today.
I am so excited to be here.
This is going to be fantastic, you guys. We have some really compelling things to talk about. She is incredible, so I really wanted to dig deep into some really just important and kind of just deeper level questions for her. So I'm really excited to dive in. So let's just get started and tell us a little bit about how did you make your first sale? How did you get things rolling in real estate?
So actually, my first sale is probably kind of a fluke. I feel like it doesn't happen to most people. So I got my license, right? The broker I was working with was like, hey, you need to make a Facebook post. I was super, super nervous to do it, right? It's weird to like that first time put yourself out there. So, and I couldn't come up with the wording. I was like telling my brother about it and I was like, oh my God, I have to make this Facebook post. I don't know what to say. He just rattled something. So I just typed it and threw it out on Facebook. My nephew was like, hey, I want to buy a house. In my comment section, he was my very first client. And now I think he's on his like third or fourth transaction. But a couple years later, I was like telling him, you were my first transaction. And he was like, he had no idea. So I was like, hey, at least I faked it at first and you bought it.
You probably should not lead with, you were my first transaction, let's go buy a house.
Right. Yeah. No. And I was like, oh, I can't believe you didn't know. So I had him under contract, I would say the second day I had a license.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was luck.
What was your draw to real estate?
So I worked in property management. I started as a receptionist in a property management company when I was 18. And then I was a receptionist and then I cleaned at night. For years, I did property management. And then, I went to school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I actually went to school to be a dental hygienist because I thought they make decent money. They don't work a ton. Like the dentist takes off, they take off. And I had never... I got through all the like math and science courses and then I was like, I should go shadow in a dental office. And it was disgusting. So I was like, okay, that's not for me. So I just kind of like went job to job. I was working right before I got my license. I was working at a trucking brokerage. So it's almost kind of the same thing, right? Like I had customers in Salt Lake and whatever, and I would match a truck with whatever load they were moving.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then actually my brother's been in real estate for about 25 years and he's a builder. And he was like, you should just get your real estate license.
Yeah.
So I did.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So if everything fell apart tomorrow and you lost everything with your business, what do you think would be your first steps in reestablishing it?
I think I would just have to kind of start working, right? Like all you can do is work and get back out there and redo it. I mean, we both know with the way the market's been so up and down in the last year, it's just kind of back to basics, like fundamentals. Dress up, show up, make calls, take calls.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. I think you just have to get right back to work.
Yeah. I don't think that there is a secret weapon to success in real estate on your side or on my side. It's simply showing up, doing the work at the highest level you possibly can, having compassion for people, admitting when you don't know something and finding the answer, and having phenomenal customer service. I think that is like the very, very basic minimum. And it's so amazing how many people do not have good basic customer service.
Right, right. And I feel like I'm always kind of more, I was comfortable at the, right? Like, I'll be fine if I lose everything and have to start over because I'm kind of comfortable there. And I kind of have to keep myself in that headspace all the time of like, I mean, you got to work it or you're screwed, basically. Right. So
Yeah.
in the back of my head, I'm always like, because when I first started real estate, I worked a serving job at night just to pay bills.
Yeah.
I'm always like, if I have to work a serving job, I can,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to, but I know I can do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would be just get right back to work.
I think one of the most amazing things about real estate is that you essentially, when you close a transaction, you are essentially starting over to go get the next one. Like, there's no guarantee of a paycheck next month. You have to work it every single month. And every single
Yeah.
time you close one out, it's like, we got to go get a next one. We got to go get the next one over and over and over again. So it is like starting over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to the providing like that great customer service. Like you said, you have to provide that great customer service because that's right. You want to work off of referrals.
Yeah.
So that'll just keep building your business instead of having that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm starting over again because I closed this transaction.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I love about it for creators, for people that are entrepreneurial like you and I are, is that, there's no seniority, there's no tenure in
No.
real estate. If you stop doing your job, if you stop going and stirring the pot and finding new business and connecting with your past database and, staying in contact with people and making new connections, you will have no business. So
Right.
it is constant, which
It's
I
constant.
love that. I love that. I love getting paid for the work that we do.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
how do you build your referral base and find your clients?
Again, back to the customer service thing, it's providing that great customer service to get those referrals. I also think if you're starting brand new, your sphere is going to be your bread and butter. These people know you, they love you, they want good things for you. So that's kind of who you have to hit first. Because I remember when I first had a license and people would talk about repeat business and, referrals and whatever, I was like, I don't have anybody.
Yeah.
So it had to come from my sphere, like my nephew just happened to be the first one to go.
Wow. Wow. And sometimes friends and family can be some of the most difficult clients.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
knock out those difficult transactions when you get someone that doesn't know you, it seems like it goes a little bit easier. But if you got through some of those more personal transactions ahead of time, you're prepared. You're prepared for the easy ones.
Right. Right.
So, Cozy, if you'd achieved all of your life goals tomorrow, what would you do next?
I don't think if I achieved my goals weren't big enough.
Mhm.
I'd like to set really, really big goals. But let's just say I hit all of these big goals that I made. I think I would probably just set more goals. I feel like it's kind of how I'm wired. I love setting a goal and hustling and trying to get it.
Would
It
you share with us, like, what is one of your big goals?
One of my big goals, I set years kind of every right. I like most people, I set goals every year. So like this year, I set a goal of 500 transactions this year. My thought process is if I set a goal that is ridiculous, I'll work ridiculous to hit it. I'll probably fall short, but I'll probably hit it. And going back to like when you first started, it's funny that people always have, I feel like a lot of people have like $100,000 is their big dream at first, right?
Mhm.
So like your goal is like, oh my God, if I made $100,000, I'd be
Life
comfortable.
changing.
I'd be set. Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
But my thought is on that, like I set my goal to make 250, and then if I hit 100, it's still a win.
Still a win.
Yeah,
Shoot for the moon. Even if you end up among the stars, you're still doing really, really great.
right, right. So like now I would say my goal for this year was to make 1 million, right? To where if I make 500 to 750, it's still a win, but I'm working like I'm going to make 1 million.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So, what do you think is the smartest investment that you've ever made? What would you recommend others do?
I think my smartest investment I ever made was like buying my first personal home, right? Because
Mhm.
we're in real estate. So you want to I tell my clients to do it. I do it myself. Buy
Mhm.
that first home and then take your equity and put it into your first rental,
Yes.
right? Use the bank's money to fund that, or not the bank's money, like your own money to fund that, to build your wealth.
Mhm. Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think kind of starting out, your best investment is your personal home. So I would say that was my best investment ever, because then it helps to build other investments.
Absolutely. It's surprising to me how many realtors have never owned a home or ever done a mortgage transaction themselves. And,
Right.
definitely don't hold off on getting your real estate license until you've bought a home or have had a mortgage, but get in deep real quick with understanding real estate as a customer. Because I just closed a transaction with a realtor on a property in Big Sky, and we were talking afterwards, and he was saying, he's like, we always are coaching our clients to not be so emotional. Like, it's not an emotional thing. This is a business transaction. It's going to be okay, and because, they can get very emotional. He's like, I always am coaching that. He said, but I forget how emotional and stressed out that even I get as a customer. And so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so important for realtors and lenders to feel that and understand that everybody feels that way
Yeah.
when they're doing that type of big dollar, big ticket kind of transaction.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Put yourself in your client's shoes for sure.
Yeah. I always think too, when you go and look at a house and you start to see yourself in it. And I think other people, they're a little bit more capable of separating themselves. But I think as women specifically, we start seeing ourselves in it. We start like emotionally connecting with it
Yeah.
and thinking about it and designing it and putting your dishes away. And I don't know why we immediately start nesting,
Yeah.
but we do. And so when something goes wrong, like there's an inspection issue or maybe something didn't pan out right with your financing or something like that, or it's just not the right home for you. It's very painful. It's like you've lost a friend.
Yes. Yes. And then you have to go start over and
Mhm.
try to fall in love with another house. So,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. It's
Yes.
definitely an emotional process.
Yes. So it's so important for us in real estate to go through that ourselves so that we can hold people's hand and be able to guide them. So
Right.
this is one of my most favorite questions. At this stage in your life, what are you looking for in a friend?
That is a good question. I've had the same core group of friends since junior high, high school.
Wow.
So, but everybody grows, they change, whatever, you take different life paths. At this point, when I am making new friends, it's a lot of people that are sharing kind of the same experiences that I'm experiencing right now. So, right, you end up being friends with other agents, you end up
Yeah.
being friends with lenders, with people that work at the title company. I also, even my core group of friends, I like my friends to push me.
Mm.
I want to be supportive to them. I want them to support me. We all have goals. We might have different goals, but I enjoy the friendships where you are helping each other be better.
Mm. Yes. I agree with you on we tend to be friends with people that are in our real estate circle. And I'm always laughing because, we're trying to plan a party or something. And my husband says, just invite personal friends. And I'm like, all my friends are realtors, all of them. I don't have any other friends.
Right, right. Realtors, or I have had made some great friendships with clients.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It's all business. It's just like the business separation between, separating your business and your personal life is like, that doesn't even exist because those are people. Those are who we spend our time with. We have
Right.
similar things in common. We think alike. Uh,
And as you get older, you get tired earlier, right?
yeah, yeah, yes. I am an 8:30 gal. I am out by 8:30. So, Cozy, as you're kind of thinking about your future, what are you thinking about that your legacy is going to look like for you and your family and your community? What do you want that to look like?
I told you before this one was going to be kind of stumped, but the more I think about it, I want my legacy to be that I genuinely care about people. I want the best for everyone. The other thing is I grew up kind of in a poor family.
Yeah.
So for my family, I want to be able to I grew up in a family without a ton of money. Everybody had a fantastic work ethic. They were just, farmers and truck drivers, and which is, where I learned that work ethic from. For my family, I want to continue to kind of build wealth as a family and teach, like, the kids in my family maybe a different way, right? Investing, doing those kind of things. Because I grew up in a
Yes.
house where, like, my dad's investment was pulling the change out of his pocket every night and throwing it in a bucket. So,
Oh, yeah. Same.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So for, like, the next generation of my family, I want them to know how to invest in real estate, stock market, the different things you can put your money in to help your money work for you and not just sit in a bucket in the corner of your bedroom.
That's really good. That's a really, really good legacy. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's just incredible because you're breaking the habit, you're breaking the chain. And
Yeah,
I agree with that too, as I think about that a lot. And sometimes it's not necessarily thinking about what you would do, it's thinking about what you wouldn't do when you're looking back
absolutely.
at your history. And it's almost easier to develop a pathway by starting with these are the things that I wouldn't do that maybe my parents or my grandparents did. And, or like I think about like our grandparents, our great grandparents that were amazing at
Mhm.
finding ways to squeeze pennies out of turnips and
Absolutely.
creating whatever it was that they needed because they could repair things and they lived very frugally. And I think that that is something that we really need to be teaching our younger generations right now is it's like, it's not every single time you need something, go and hand somebody some of your money, some of your wealth in exchange for a thing. It's like, how can we either do without it or can we make what we have work or can we, get something that's used or something like that. I mean, so that you can take the bulk of your money and invest it into something that's going to give
Mhm.
you something back.
Yeah, and I think they just didn't know, right? Like our parents, our grandparents, they didn't know how to do it to where it's, yes, the next generation, we just have to, like, teach them how to do that.
Yeah. I think our parents, especially, that baby boomer
Mhm.
generation of people, like when they came into the work world compared to their parents, they were like really wealthy.
Yeah.
And the sign of having wealth was to buy things, to have nice cars and nice watches and nice, things.
Right.
And that's, I think, just coming from a poor upbringing, they just kind of went a little hog wild. And so now it's kind of the other side of it where we're like, okay, we can combine all these things where it's nice to have nice things, but now we want to have something to show for it at the end of it. So,
Right, right.
yeah,
And if you kind of looking at it from that perspective, they did kind of improve every generation. So we're just the improvement. And now let's teach the next generation how to improve even more.
yes, yes, wealth in a different way than in things, but now things, but maybe things that make you money.
Mhm.
That's so cool. We have such a great job. I just love what we get to do. We just get to help people fulfill their dreams. And
Absolutely.
I mean, we just get to do great work every single day, helping people fulfill their dreams and working with people that are helping other people fulfill their dreams. And it's just it's the best job ever.
Right. Right. Well, because homeownership is a big dream for most people, right?
Yeah.
That's their ultimate goal is to be a homeowner. And then, right, once they start as a homeowner, then our jobs are to teach them how to, right, do that investment and turn it from just owning your home to making it maybe a rental, making it, onto your next thing.
Yeah. I just have one other question I'm just gonna totally throw at you that I didn't prepare you for.
Okay.
What
Okay.
advice would you give somebody who's thinking about becoming a realtor?
We kind of talked about it before. It's you have to make it the best advice I got when I first started was you have to treat this like any other job, right? So the advice that I got when I started was from people that had been in the industry years before, right? So it was you need to be in the office every day
Yeah.
for if people just walk in, right? But it's like the internet has really changed that to where like people aren't really walking into a brick and mortar anymore to but on the flip side of that, I did it, and I learned so much just from being in the office every day and the other agents around me, right? Hearing what they were dealing with, hearing how they were
Yes.
getting new clients, that kind of thing. It was like by an osmosis thing.
Yep.
Hit the open houses hard. My first couple years of real estate, I would do 2 open houses every week, and I would be at the office meeting every week. And when someone would be like, "Who's available for an open house?" I would be like jumping out of my seat, like, me, me, me. And nobody else really was. But I did 2 open houses every Sunday. And, it's not going to just kind of pop right away. You need to be patient and just keep grinding it, and it'll start building on each other.
That's really amazing advice. Cozy, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for your
Well,
time.
thank you for having me.
This was fantastic. And you guys, if you want to reach out to Cozy for any questions, you know where to track her down. Or if you want to connect with me, definitely connect. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Just as a reminder, I'm the producing branch manager of the Wood team at Hometown Lenders. What we are known for are 3 things. Number 1, we close on time. Number 2, we keep our realtors in the sales seat at all times by keeping them updated on their current transactions so that they can go get the next one. Number 3, when you entrust us with a lead, we follow up on that lead until they buy, fly, or die. No leads are ever lost to our lack of follow-up. Our number 1 priority is for you to earn more money in commission so that you can improve the lives of your family, community, and in turn, our country. So, can I count on you for that next buyer lead? I would love to work with you too. Also, if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please just reach out to my office. All right, we'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Success Realtor Podcast. Bye-bye.